Ha ha ha. They smiled first, then stopped breathing. You feel it docked you. That pause, right before sound should exist. That's where this begins. Not with a shout, with a gap, with eyes avoiding you. Like mirrors cracking early. Someone is counting losses. They won't admit out loud. Someone is watching. From behind a one-way thought. You didn't announce yourself. You didn't recruit. You didn't ask permission. Still. Something built on obedience. Start folding inward. Calm at first. Almost polite. Then the silence leaned forward. You weren't supposed to move alone. You weren't supposed to last. You weren't supposed to notice how fragile their certainty really was. But here you are, and somewhere else. They're whispering your name like it's a structural flaw. You sense it before proof, not fear. Misalignment. Rooms hesitate, like they're waiting for permission to breathe. Voices thin out, mid-sentence, as if truth suddenly costs more. They look at you. Too carefully, not curious, not hostile, calculating. You aren't chased. That would be honest. You're measured angle. Reactions, silence is logged like data points. That's worse, because predators rush, controller, observe. You feel chosen, without consent, like a spotlight turned on. In a place that never needed light, not praised, that would mean value. Tracked, eyes linger. A second too long, questions feel rehearsed, compliments arrive. With conditions attached, you catch it, in reflections, in the way laughter waits for approval before landing. Something's wrong, not loud, not obvious, structural, and the unsettling part, your body noticed. Before your mind dared to. You know it, you replay moments not emotionally, mechanically, and they line up. Same pause, before agreement, same laugh. At the wrong second, different faces, identical responses. That's when it clicks. This wasn't chemistry, it was choreography, scripts repeating. With minor improvisations, smiles timed, to signal safety. You weren't surrounded, that would imply chaos. You were managed, conversation funnel, approved conclusions, safe outrage, prepackaged hope. Beliefs weren't shared, they were installed, slow, polite, like updates you never authorized. Doubts. Those were rationed, enough to feel human, never enough to escape. You notice how questions were always redirected, how curiosity was praised, right until it wandered. You remember how disagreement was met with concern, not debate. That wasn't kindness, that was containment. And suddenly, every encouragement feels like a leash, with velvet wrap around it. You see it now. Not because they failed, but because patterns hate patience. They repeat, they echo, they betray themselves. Control depends on invisibility, on everyone thinking. This is just how things are, but control panics when it's observed, when someone stops reacting and starts noticing. That's what you did. You didn't rebel, you didn't announce suspicion. You watched, and in that moment, without raising your voice, without breaking rank, you became dangerous because control hates witnesses, and you became one. You pull one thread, not aggressively, not to prove anything, just enough to feel resistance, and something flinches. The chant stutters, half a beat late. Voices overlap where they never did before. The mask slips. Not off, just crooked. Rules contradict. Depending on who speaks, principles bend. To protect the speaker, leaders improvise. You can hear it in the rushed metaphors, the sudden jokes, the way certainty starts borrowing volume. They call it unity, that word again. You see dependency, the kind that panics. When one person stops nodding, the kind that needs agreement more than truth. You ask nothing, you only hesitate. And that's enough. Their tone changes, concern hardens, explanations overheat. Then it slips out. Subtle, almost accidental. They call you dangerous. Not wrong, not confused, not misguided. Dangerous. That's a confession. Because danger isn't about error. It's about disruption, about what happens when the structure can't rely on silence anymore. Truth doesn't explode. That would be dramatic. It leaks. Inside glances in emergency meetings. You are not invited to, in rules rewritten. After you question nothing, every drop lands quietly, almost polite. but it burns. It corrodes trust. It stains certainty. It eats at the illusion that this was ever stable, and the leak doesn't stop once it starts, because structures like this aren't held together by strength. They're held together by unchallenged belief. You didn't tear it down, you didn't expose everything, you just let air in. And now they can hear it. You stop asking to belong, not as a declaration, it just expires. The need loosens, without drama, like a muscle that finally unclenches. After years of tension, you forgot was there. Fear recalibrates. It doesn't vanish. It repositions, no longer in front of you, now behind, chasing, late. Your posture changes. Before your thoughts do, shoulders settle, breath deepens. You're still alone, but different now. Before, isolation felt like exile. Now it feels like clearance. Their words don't enter clean anymore. They scrape, they hesitate at the threshold. They need permission. They no longer receive automatically. Guilt tries its old routes, misses the exits. Shame arrives with the wrong address, bounces, leaves. You notice how often you used to apologize for existing at full volume, for asking, for pausing, for thinking sideways. That reflex dies quietly. You're not louder. That would be reactive. You're heavier. Your silence carries mass. Your yes means something again. Your no lands without explanation. They feel it. You stop over-clarifying, stop rehearsing, stop shrinking to keep rooms comfortable. This isn't confidence, it's alignment. You're no longer split between what you notice and what you're allowed to say. That internal friction, gone in its place. A steady pressure, a grounded stillness, that weight, choice, not borrowed, not approved, not delayed, yours. They react to you, notice that. Not openly, not honestly, but schedules shift after you speak. Agendas change after you stay quiet. Meetings adjust, chairs turn, topics detour, decisions stall until they gauge your expression. Or the lack of one. Stories rewrite themselves in real time. What was never a rule suddenly always was. What was everyone agrees now needs footnotes. They warn others carefully. No names, just descriptions, independent, unpredictable, hard to read. You hear it echoed back through different mouths. That's how you know you set tempo. By existing, you don't escalate, you don't disrupt events, you disrupt expectations. Silence stretches when you enter. Jokes land softer. Certainty clears its throat. You don't attack, that would unite them. You advance one step, then stillness. You let them overthink. Your absence of reaction, you let them project strategy onto restraint. Control depends on symmetry. Predictable responses, mirrored emotions, managed rhythms. You broke that the moment you stopped playing along. Now they can't map you, can't time you, can't frame you cleanly. Every system needs feedback loops. You became a dead zone, and in that space, power migrates, not loudly, not ceremonially, just inevitably. Control hates asymmetry, and you, without raising a hand, without claiming a title, became it. They rush unity. You can feel the urgency in it. Calls come faster, messages stack, phrases repeat. Like they're being tested for strength. It fractures because unity summoned in panic is just fear. Wearing a slogan, they shout loyalty louder, more often to the wrong people. It echoes wrong, not hollow. Uneven, like a room that no longer knows where its walls are. Mistakes multiply. Instructions conflict, rules update. Mid-sentence, allies correct each other. In public, then deny it happened. Masks fuse. The friendly one hardens. The authoritative one panics. The calm one cracks first. You stay quiet, not hiding, not retreating, watching. Silence is unreadable. They can't tell if you're waiting, planning, or already done, so they guess. They assign motives. They invent strategies. They argue over what you might do, then react to that instead. They guess wrong again and again. Because fear doesn't seek truth, it seeks relief. And every move they make to calm themselves pushes them further off balance, no victory speech, no applause. Nothing heralds your presence, no banners, no lights, no echoes that mark triumph. Just absence, a space where certainty once lived, where confidence thrived, where hierarchy felt permanent, where rules were obeyed without thought. That certainty, gone, evaporated, and they notice it. Even if they can't admit why, they survive, but changed. The ones who smiled in your presence hesitate now. Voices falter mid-sentence. They stumble over words they used to wield as weapons or shields. Every gesture you once ignored suddenly carries weight. Every decision they make is double-checked. Every glance scans the room for your ghost, for the trace of someone who could unbalance everything. You move on, not hurried, not boastful, just walking, leaving the air behind you thicker with questions than with answers. They try to reassemble control. They try to reclaim dominance. They call meetings. They whisper warnings. They act decisively. But the rhythm has shifted. You set a new measure. Without saying a word, not crowned, no stat. Use, no recognition. And that is the point. Power doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need medals. It doesn't need applause. It lingers, like an echo of intent. Inside every room you touched, every structure you walk past, trembles quietly, under your memory unchallenged. They cannot confront what they cannot see. They cannot fight what they cannot name. They cannot replace what they cannot measure. And so they adapt, they adjust, they whisper among themselves, and pretend the change wasn't caused by you. History won't credit you, it never does. The books will skip over your name, erase your influence, forget your method, pretend nothing shifted. But the invisible ledger remembers every hesitation, every pause, every moment of doubt that began in a room where you once stood silent. They'll just avoid repeating you. Every ritual you broke, every expectation you ignored, every rule you exposed becomes a cautionary tale in their minds. It isn't spoken aloud, but it shapes their strategy. And in that avoidance, you dominate. You teach without speaking. You punish without touching. You rewrite boundaries by existing in a way they cannot copy. Rooms bend to memory, not command. They respect the absence more than the presence. You are everywhere and nowhere. No celebrations mark it. No one cheers. No one chants your name. You are the shadow that causes them to step lightly. The pause before they speak. The thought they cannot finish without considering your judgment. Even when you are not present, their movement slow, not from fear of retaliation, but because uncertainty now reigns. Every handshake carries weight. Every plan carries risk. Every decision is a calculation against the memory of what you represented. They survive, but they are fractured. They endure, but they are quieter. They obey the law of your absence and fear the law of your return. You move on, and they are left to rebuild on ground that has already shifted. No map, no instructions, no clarity, just traces of someone who could unbalance everything without raising a finger. This is the apex of silent domination, not in the cheers, not in the headlines, not in recognition, but in absence, in influence that can't be challenged, cannot be tracked, cannot be repeated. They survive. And in surviving, they remember not your name, not your face, but the quiet weight of your presence, the impossible, invisible pressure that reshaped their certainty. And that is enough, because power, real, unspoken power, doesn't need applause. It just needs to exist. And you exist just when they think it's over. It isn't. Closure arrives gently, too gently, the kind that feels rehearsed. You watch from the shadows, not hiding, absent on purpose. They believe they've survived. You can't see it in their posture, in the way shoulders drop, in the exhale they didn't realize they were holding. They whisper relief, exchange cautious smiles, pat themselves on the back for endurance, for adaptation, for learning. But relief is a lie, and survival is temporary, because everything they rebuilt, every rule they enforced, every lesson they celebrate contains something foreign. Not a weapon, a suggestion. You planted it quietly, inside their logic, inside their procedure, inside the assumptions they now depend on. A mirror they never noticed. A flaw they dismissed as harmless. A decision they swear was theirs. It wasn't. You taught them to doubt. Without showing the hand that taught. You rewired instinct. Without ever giving instruction. You made them question truth. Without offering an alternative. Now they chase shadows, calling it vigilance. They audit each other. Calling it accountability. They hesitate. Calling it wisdom. All the while believing they're in control. You're not in the room. You're not on their radar. Your name doesn't circulate. Your absence feels like closure. Yet everything trembled under its weight. They panic quietly, not with alarms, with revisions, with amendments, with subtle distrust, because the system that survived is already infected. Every instinct is now second-guessed. Every order feels potentially wrong. Every ally feels one misstep away from betrayal. And when they finally realize what's happened, it will be too late. The structures they trusted will collapse under caution. The people they depended on will fracture under suspicion. No one will know why. No one will see the hand that shifted the game. They'll only feel it. Like a shadow under skin, like pressure without source, like being watched by something that isn't there. You disappear. Again, not defeated, not victorious, untraceable. And the room that thought it had survived will burn quietly from the inside out. That's the twist they never saw coming. They survived you, only to discover you never needed to be there. You weren't in the room, you were the room. And now, the panic begins again.